You may have noticed I'm not sitting in my usual cupboard today, and that's because I'm sitting in my electric car on my driveway. This is the Vauxhall Corsa-e, and I've owned it for about 18 months now. We bought it from new. It was a pre-registered deal, so we got quite a good deal on it. We've done almost 27,000 miles in it, so we've got a pretty good idea of what it's like to drive, so I thought I'd give you a bit of a rundown of the good things and the bad things that we've discovered over the last 18 months. We use this car absolutely loads. As a family of 4 with 2 teenagers, we're always running them backwards and forwards to see various friends and gatherings and whatever teenagers do. We've also got a diesel Dacia Duster, and we don't really use that much anymore. Most of the journeys that we do or did in the Duster are now being replaced with using this electric car instead. It just makes a lot more sense. I'm guessing one of the big questions that people might have for me is about range. Now I think it's quoted as 205 miles of range. Now I've never managed to get that sort of mileage out of this car. When we charge it to full, it says it's got about 195 miles. In reality, we get maybe 180 miles. I don't ever try to get 180 miles out of it. That would be a bit scary, letting it run down to 0. But we've used it for a few long journeys. I think one of the longest continuous journeys I've ever done was 145 miles. That was from Reading to South Wales, and I did it continuously at 60 miles an hour, and we had 9 miles of range left when I got back here. Now I think that's a bit misleading. It seems to make up the range as it gets close to the bottom of the tank, because it was actually 20%. So I mean, I don't think 9 miles is 20%. I think I'd have got a lot more if I'd have decided to risk it. Obviously, public charging is a real mixed bag. You've always got to have multiple backups, multiple backup plans wherever you go. I've been to some chargers, some of the grid serve ones, and they've worked first time straight away along the M4. Other times I've got there and I've had to wait. I've tried plugging in at the same time as other cars. I think there was a Nissan Leaf charging next to me one time, so I plugged in with the CCS charger, and my car timed out, so we basically locked the charger up while it was waiting to charge. But mostly we charge at home. We've got a pod point charger on the wall. If you've seen my other videos, you'll have seen me discuss that before. According to the pod point app, we've spent about £217 on charging at home. Now that's 18,000 miles worth of charging, and it's about 1.2 pence per mile, so it's really not that bad at all. I'm going to go through the bad points now about this car, and it's going to sound like I'm being a bit negative because I have got a big list of things here I want to mention, but I do want to say overall I would not change this car. I wouldn't go back to a petrol one. I had a Yaris before, a petrol Yaris, and compared to that, this is just light years ahead. So let's go through some bad points. The screens are an absolute dust magnet. All of the screens, they just pick up dust and dirt, and it doesn't matter how often you clean them, within a few minutes they'll just be covered in dust again. It's a bit of a pain, so it does mean that it looks a bit messy at times. Some of the plastic fittings scratch really easily. I cleaned them the day I got it, and I've left a few scratches across it already, just where there was dust on it as I was trying to wipe the dust away. I think one of the biggest complaints I've got though is that there's no charge percentage indicator in this car. Now I've been told that newer versions of, or newer models of this Corsa do actually tell you the percentage battery that you've got left, but this has got like an old style petrol gauge. What is it, 8 bars or 10 bars or something like that, that you have to work out how many percent you've got left in your battery. It's a bit, doing a bit of maths while you're driving is not great, but you get used to it. It would be much easier if it just said you have 80% left. If it decides to tell you it needs a service, and you ignore the little spanner light on it, while you're driving along, all of a sudden it'll start beeping at you. Well, it's like a bing 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 noise, and the sat nav will suddenly start to try and navigate you to the nearest garage for a service. My wife was driving this car the first time it did it, and she panicked a bit and pulled over and phoned me because she thought something was seriously wrong. So yeah, they could do with changing that. Yeah, and the dealer, or it probably wasn't the dealer actually, it would have been the central warehouse or wherever this was stored. This was a pre-registered car, so it came from a central Vauxhall location and was delivered to the dealer, but it came with summer tyres on it, and they weren't, I think they were lower tread than normal anyway. They lasted about 25,000 miles, so we didn't replace them for quite a while, but it wasn't long ago when we changed them. I've put all-weather tyres on now, or all-season tyres on, and the car handles a bit better. You don't get as many wheel spins as you did previously. When we first got the car, we had a few issues with public charging. I think about 3 or 4 times we tried to charge and it just wouldn't handshake with the chargers. Now, other people were having no issues at all at the same chargers. I remember pulling up at the Instavolt chargers that were at McDonald's in Warwick. They were quite new, they were only a few weeks old. I plugged into 3 of them and none of them would handshake with the car. Somebody else pulled up, plugged in, worked straight away. Other people were already charging. It was a bit annoying, but I haven't had that sort of problem recently, so I don't know whether it was just the charging networks getting used to this particular car or updating their software to work better with it, but this car hasn't had an update, so you know, it must be something's going right somewhere. And there's not much storage. You've got a little sort of glasses area down there that I keep a charge cable in. You've got the glove box, which is kind of half the width of the actual glove box because the other half of fuses, I think. And then you've got this little center console here. This center console didn't come with my car. I bought it as an add-on and fitted it myself. If you did want to do that, it's quite easy to do yourself. Took me about 15 minutes to fit. Charge scheduling, it's quite a fundamental thing in an electric car. You have off-peak tariffs like Octopus Go, where you've got like cheap electricity between midnight and 4:30 in the morning. You want to be able to schedule charging at specific times of the day. In this car, you can't really do that. You can tell it when you want to start the charge, but you can't tell it to stop at a certain percentage. You can't tell it to stop at a specific time. It's just kind of like at midnight charge and keep going until you're full or I unplug it. So as a consequence, I have to rely on the PodPoint app itself, which is a bit better. The connected services in this car are awful. I mean, the app constantly logs me out. It doesn't update very often. It never actually tells you your location. It relies on the phone's last known location from when the phone was connected using Bluetooth to the car. You can activate the climate remotely, so you can sort of precondition the cabin, and that works sometimes. Doesn't work other times. It seems to be very flaky with the signal, so I don't know which network the eSIM that's in the car is on, but it's not very reliable. So I think they really need to pull their finger out with that. I think you can't do over-the-air updates either to the car, so you've got to do it the old-fashioned way. If you want to update the sat nav or the media system, you run a bit of dodgy software on your computer, download the software to a USB stick and then plug it into your car, and it can take anywhere up to hour and a half to update your car. Any sort of I guess firmware updates for the car itself, you have to actually take it into the dealer for that to be done, and they will only do it if there's been a recall. So that's a bit of a bad situation. I mean, even Volkswagen I think are doing over-the-air updates now, so Vauxhall have got a bit of catching up to do there. And then there's been a couple of weird bugs. A couple of times the car has refused to go into reverse. So you're supposed to hold down the stick here, you push the side button, you push the stick away from you, and it should go into reverse. But we've done that, pulling onto the drive, and absolutely nothing. It just refused to do it totally. We had to turn the engine off, back on again, and it would start working. But it's a bit disconcerting when you can't effectively put the car in gear. Another issue we've had is with the media display. So this display in the middle, we've started the car to drive it somewhere, obviously started the car to drive it somewhere, and the screen has just stayed blank. The main screen with the speedo on and everything still works, and the buttons down the side of the media screen work, and you could use the buttons on the actual steering wheel to control the radio, but nothing on the screen at all. The only way I got around it is you have to stop it and then leave it for about 5 minutes. So you get out of the car, you lock it, and then you wait for it to fully shut down the car. So you can tell that the lights on the ceiling will go out, and the lights on the dash go out. Then when you start it, the screen will turn on. It's a very strange issue. I haven't brought it up with the dealer at all because it's happened 3 times in the last 18 months, and it's fixed itself each time. Don't think they'd ever be able to reproduce it easily, and I've searched online, there doesn't seem to be any known issues with it. So yeah, it sounds like I'm being a bit negative there, but I wanted to point out all of the bad points because there's so many good points as well. I mean, this car at the moment has been really cheap to run. That's not going to last forever. I know electricity prices have gone up, and if I was driving long distances using public chargers, then that would be a very different story. But for me, it's been cheap on the insurance, it's been cheap on the fuel to run it. There's been no tax, obviously that's going to change in a couple of years, but it's absolutely brilliant. It's really fast as well. I mean, not so much fast, I guess the maximum speed's like 93 miles an hour. I've never taken it up to that speed, obviously, that would be naughty. But the acceleration from it, especially in sport mode where you unlock the whole 135 brake horsepower, you put your foot down and it shoots up, and it's not so much just the 0 to 60 time or the 0 to 30 time, it's the 40 to 50 time and the 50 to 60 and the 60 to 70 time. It's all the same. It feels really linear. You put your foot down at 50 and you're instantly up to 70. It is a really different experience to a petrol car, and the Dacia Duster that we've got as well, which is basically like a slug on wheels. And yeah, range isn't brilliant compared to a petrol or a diesel car, but it's been perfect for us. We're basically ferrying the kids backwards and forwards to see their friends, doing school runs. My wife uses it for commuting to work as well, which is about 12-13 miles away, and absolutely no issues with range. We charge it most nights, but just put in 2 hours worth, so about 30%. We just try and keep it up at a decent level, just in case we decided we'd need more mileage the next day, or something unexpected happened and we needed to maybe take a longer drive. It's never been a problem. We've done some longer journeys, as I said before. We've made trips from South Wales to Birmingham, we've done South Wales to Reading. I've driven to Surrey as well for the Fully Charged Live event last year. I had to stop and charge there, so I stopped at Lee Delamere services. They've got a single charger there at the moment. Hopefully that will change soon, but I managed to top up there and then make it the rest of the way. You get 7 years of free breakdown cover. I just have to press a button up here, and in theory the RAC will come out and help me. Now, I've never had to use it, but it's nice to know that it's there if I do need it. The boot is a decent size. Okay, you don't get amazing amount of space considering that there's a lot of batteries under there, but we've managed to get like all the kids' musical instruments in there, luggage. You could get a suitcase in there easily. It's no good for us if we wanted to go on holiday as a family of 4, because like maybe get 2 suitcases in this car, but if we need 3 or 4 suitcases, we have to use the dolphin burner Duster. It's a bit of a shame, but otherwise we'd be using this all the time for all our journeys. Now, I think any video that I make wouldn't feel complete until I talk about Home Assistant, and there is Home Assistant integration for this car. I'm not going to cover that in this video because I think I'm going to do a separate video showing you how to set that up. There's a few limitations. It's called PSA Car Controller, and it runs as an add-on in case you're interested, and it does let you read the mileage, your last journey distance and fuel efficiency, and there's a few other bits and bobs there. The control components, so setting a charge schedule and setting the climate activation, that doesn't work very reliably for me, but that might be because of the signal, or it could be just because of Vauxhall's online service is not being great. But I'll cover that in a future video. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more videos from me. Thank you very much. Goodbye.